And of course, it was the magic of those words which overrode my consciousness and made me say, "It's a gentleman's promise. If you are going to be my life partner, I will not booze unless you are comfortable about it. I mean it." I didn't stop there, but continued. "The reason I can do this is because alcohol is not something I am addicted to. At the same time, I don't think it's bad to booze once in 100 days just to give company to your best friends. Even then, I have never crossed my limits and got drunk completely. Still, if this becomes a problem between me and my life partner, I will gladly abstain." "And promises are meant to be kept," she reiterated, and probably she smiled too. Absolutely, the gentleman within me was still talking. But the day you get to know me completely, after 6 months or 10, or maybe a year, or maybe more than that, then if you think that boozing is not at all a bad case with me, you will have to allow me to have drink with my best friends. But again, I will never force you to say that. This was another landmark in our saga, and henceforth she felt better talking to me, and I felt good just because she felt good. Was the second out of three things wealth, woman, and I still can't remember the third that could make anything happen in this world, making me do this. I didn't know then, and I don't know now. The only thing bothering me was, what would I say to Happy and MP when we sat together with red wine at our next reunion? Guys, please bear with me as I have stopped boozing because a promise I made to a girl whom I only talked to on the phone for a week. Yes, only a week. Far lesser time than the years which we all have spent together. I didn't know then if the promise was good or bad for me, but what was definitely good was the trust and understanding we gained. And this was just beginning. It was a tough call, but then something within me wanted her for a long, long time. Forever. What? You haven't talked to your parents yet? Shona, you promised me you would do that by now. If you are wondering who is this new character Shona is, it's me. And the person shouting those questions at me is my Kushi. Yes, she is mine now. We are in love for the first time. Sounds crazy. So, did it happen when we are studying together in college? Of course not. I'm 1,000 miles away from her. Was it love at first sight? Definitely not. We haven't seen each other yet. The questions my friends would ask me and the answers I gave them, there were some dirty ones too, which I can ignore, but everyone's last question was the same. Are you crazy? I don't know. Indeed, being in love with a person you haven't even met is a crazy thing. And decided to marry that person someday, even crazier. Never in my wildest dream had I thought my love life would be like this. To be honest, I had never thought of any love life. But now I had changed a lot and was no longer the same person I used to be till some time ago. A lot of things had changed in me and around me. I had started slipping out of conversations with my friends just to give her a call. I slept less and talked more. My phone bills led my monthly spending chart, leaving the house rent miles behind the race. I started noticing couples, the way they sit together in gardens hand in hand, the way a girl holds a boyfriend on a motorbike. I started worrying about the how do I look factor. My status on Orkut changed from single to committed. She became the password of my several internet IDs. Sitting on my office alone, I used to smile talking to nobody. Love was in the air. Our such a different story. A 21st century love story whose foundation was the modern day gadgetry. Thanks to Graham Bell for inventing telephone that helped me to talk to her, know her better and finally fall in love with her. Thanks to the internet, the World Wide Web and the site like Shadi.com that helped me find her, I discovered myself to be a true software engineer in this high-tech love phase. And whether this kind of love was good or bad was no longer a point to ponder. We are already in it. The next weekend arrived and I was panicking. After all, I was going to talk to my parents about my marriage. This was definitely going to be a bolt from the blue for them. I was smart enough to take my younger brother Tinku into confidence. The night before we left for Burla, he already knew something was going on between me and some girl. My late night calls had made that much clear, but he had never imagined that all this started at a matrimonial site. Being his elder brother, I did not give him any option except to be on my side when I talked to my mom and dad. Since the moment we arrived at our home in Burla, I was doing strange things, moving here and there, trying to bring up the subject up, trying to find just the right moment, but I was not at all sure what the perfect moment was. I was thinking too much more than my brain could handle. Should I say it now? Or should I wait till the clock's minute hand cross 15 more minutes? But even after I had covered 150 minutes, I was still waiting. Every time I was about to spill it out, something would happen. The telephone rang, somebody knocked at the door, and if nothing else, the stupid pressure cooker's whistle dragged my mom's back into the kitchen. The one moment when no such thing happened, I just could not open my mouth. She's going to cry this time if I don't do this, I told myself. After lunch, I somehow gathered enough courage to initiate the dared conversation, even though I thought it was quite bizarre to ask my parents how they met and married each other. I could not think of a better way to bring up the subject. Mama, tell me one thing. How did you guys find each other and end up marrying? I asked. Mom and dad looked at each other, then at me smiled. Parents are smart, and what we don't know is that they know what is going on in our mind. They had probably read very easily what the mercury on my forehead was displaying. Still, they narrated their story. And the moment that was over, Mama asked, So, how is your getting started? I wondered if I should hide my face in the cushions or say, My story? I don't have any. Before my brain angrily told me, Come on, speak up, you fool. And fortunately, gathering all my shy courage, I narrated my story so far. I even showed them her picture. I was expecting a lot of ifs and buts from my parents. But to my surprise, nothing of sort happened. Even Tinku had asked me more questions than my parents asked. Mom was happy because finally her son was thinking about marriage. Dad was happy because the toughest part, searching for a girl of his son's choice, was over. He was relieved, though he tried to sound quite diplomatic. I was happy because finally I was able to get these things out of my heart and place it in front of everyone. And Tinku was observing everybody's reaction. He doesn't get influenced easily, and that's something I both like and dislike in him. a couple of questions from both mom and dad, which I answered with confidence, and that was it. I had never thought that the toughest of hurdle would be over so quickly. But before we left for Bhubaneswar on Sunday night, at the bus stop, Dad said, "We will analyze this, but it's good that you have become serious about your marriage." "No issues. I understand your point," I said to him. Inside, though, I was thinking, who cares, Dad? Monday morning, I reached my other home in Bhubaneswar. Stretching out on my bed, I called Khushi up. "Mission accomplished," I said, waking her up. Those two words conveyed everything to her. And what did I get in response? A fusillade of kisses. The last one were real passionate. That was the first time she kissed me on phone. Oh boy, so loud. No one is around, huh? I asked. She didn't answer my question, but said, "I feel like pulling you into my bed right now and kissing you madly." Whoa! She was happy, mad, and comfortable, knowing that I had finally told my family about her. Another milestone in our love story was crossed. Both our families now knew about our affairs. And as usual, I was happy because my Shonimoni was happy. But as they say, love is a blend of different emotions. Soon an evening came when I made her cry. And then I cried because she was crying. It was another weekend, and I was in Burla, sitting in the veranda, busy with my reading comprehension RC section. I was annoyed, having scored rather badly in my self exam. I was about to advance to the next passage when she called. "Hey, hi," I said in a depressed tone. "What is my baby doing?" she asked. I love it when she talked that way. When she called me baby in her cutest voice, it sounded so caring, as if she has taken over all the responsibility of looking after me. "RC is screwing up your baby, and I am in a very bad mood." "Then talk to me for a while and you will be in a good mood again." "No, dear, I want to start a new passage and score better this time. Only then will change my mood. Can we talk at night, please?" Okay. See you later. But at last say one good thing before hanging up. There were so many things specific to Khushi. The little things that were important to her, like this unique idea of listening to one good thing before we hang up. I like it most of the time, unless I was too tired to think up something new and good for her. "Khushi, please understand, my mind isn't working. I can't think of any good at this moment. I will tell you two good things at night, okay?" "Okay, you take care. Bye." "Bye nahi. See you." She corrected me again. "Oh yes, see you." And I hang up, still in a bad mood. Hardly 15 minutes had passed when I heard my cell phone ringing up. It was her. "Now what?" My voice was a little loud. "You know why I called you earlier?" "Oh, why?" I was annoyed. "Because it's raining here, and I feel like holding your hands and dancing in the rain." "Khushi," my voice grew louder. "Okay, Baba, I am sorry. See you later," she said innocently. She was about to hang up when I felt bad about how I behaved and said, "Hey, wait. We can talk for a while. I needed a break from this damn RC thing." And she was happy again. In a little while, the focus of our conversation change from rain to our promises and priorities. The things we wanted to accept and the things we wanted to give up for each other. No boozing until she was comfortable with it. Preparing myself for a vegetarian environment, at least at home, and few other things were on my plate. And talking to me and my family in Punjabi was the most important task I put on a plate. Her family spoke Hindi and she was brought up in that atmosphere where my ears badly wanted to hear the language which I was brought up around. None of our expectations were forced upon each other, though it was mutual understanding and attempt to do the best we could for each other. After all, we were supposed to live together for the rest of our lives. That evening, I asked her mischievously, "Hey, do you mind talking in Punjabi? I never heard of you fulfilling my expectations. Or are you going to start after our marriage? And if I say I won't do that even after our marriage, what will you do?" She teased me and laughed. I imagined her jumping off her bed and running to the window to catch a few raindrops. "Then I will take you back to your home in Faridabad and leave you there." All she said was, "Shona?" I could hear the rain falling on the ground outside her window. I realized what I landed up saying. My attempt at humor had badly failed. I did not know how to react. Before I could say anything, she said, "Shona, you carry on with your passage. See you later." And she hung up very quietly, something she never did. I felt very uncomfortable, recalling the way I had reacted to her teasing. I could neither call her up to tell her that I didn't mean what she thought I meant, nor could I concentrate on my RC passages. All my answers for the next passage were incorrect. Later that evening, around 7 pm, I rode my bike to the nearest ATM to get some cash for my ticket back to Bhubaneswar. It started drizzling, the first rain of the season. Now I could imagine how she felt when she had called me earlier. I got out of the queue in front of the ATM and dialed her number. "Hello?" she said. Her voice was shaking. "Khushi?" I said. "Yes, Shona?" She promptly responded. Then I heard the choking noise, which was enough for anyone to realize that she was crying. I could not say anything for a moment, during which her tears rolled down further. "My dear, please, please don't cry. I am so sorry for having said those terrible words." She started sobbing loudly, and I felt very ashamed for what I had done to the girl who wanted to hold my hands and dance with me in the rain. I felt as I had committed the greatest sin, making the sweetest girl on the earth, who was only meant for me, cry. How could I have done that? I hit the wall in front of me very hard. The people in the queue looked at me. I moved down the street to where there was no lights. "I am so sorry, Kushi. I am so sorry. Please don't cry because of my stupid mistakes. Talk to me, dear. Say something. Punish me. But for God's sake, talk to me." And with that, I too started crying. After a while, she managed to say, "Shona, you haven't even taken me to your home yet, and you are talking of sending me back?" Her simple, innocent question left me speechless. She was crying, I was crying, and the sky was crying with us. It started raining heavily. you just a second to say that, but I'm a girl. I will be leaving my parents, my brothers, and sisters, people with whom I have lived my life so far. My home, which holds so many memories, just became yours. And you said that you will leave me? I am stupid. I am terrible. I really am. I shouted, hitting a pole on the side of the street, crying loudly in the rain, not caring if anyone saw me. The clouds thundered. The rain came down hard and noisy, and I kept hitting the pole and crying. There must have been something wrong with me, for I had never cried that way. And it's probably the nature of the famine heart to stop others from crying. So she did what she did what I should have done for her. She wiped my tears first. Shona, Shona, please. I can hear you crying. Please don't do that. Please. See, I am talking to you. And no matter what, I am yours. Just yours. And even now, I am with you. And if you want to see me happy, please don't cry, my dear. The broken heart was comforting the heart that had broken it. She even made me laugh a little later. Then I said, I feel sorry and I am ashamed of myself for hurting you. Shona, do you know that? Just like you, I too wanted to be with my family forever. But because of the way our society and the culture is, I have to leave them all. And I will do that because I am in love with you. And the person I need the most for the rest of my life to take care of me is you. I know that, dear. I know very well. I don't know how I landed up saying that. I never felt it from my heart. You have all the right to punish me. Punishment? She asked in a cute voice. Yeah, it can be anything, I said. Where are you? She asked, and I felt her voice getting better. I came to get some cash from the ATM. It's 2 blocks away. Are there people at the ATM? Yeah, there is a long queue. Go back to the ATM queue. Why? Just go there. It's a part of your punishment. Alright, I said and went back. Yes, I'm there. Okay, now give me 5 kisses. What? Shona, I could not back out. I had made her cry, and now I had to do what she wanted. I still myself and ignored the people around me, went ahead and gave her 5 loud kisses over the phone. I was the second last person in the queue and I kept my head bent to avoid contact with the surprised eye which were staring at me. And despite my embarrassment, I was happy to make her laugh again. At the same time, I understood a girl's situation, the sacrifice she makes for a man of her dreams. She leaves behind everything she possessed so far in life to embrace him and his family. I asked myself how I would have felt if I was to leave my family for her. Could I even think of leaving my family? How do girls do that? And more importantly, why do only they have to do it? I didn't have any answer. In due course of time, Khushi taught me several such lessons. Gradually, she was changing me and my mindset. That evening, I did not withdraw any cash because the next moment I noticed one of my neighbors standing in the queue, right ahead of me. His face made it clear that he had caught me kissing my phone. It was midnight, The last Saturday of August, I have come back from home after watching a movie. Kushi and I had a quarrel in the afternoon, and because I couldn't stand not talking to her, I went to watch a movie, thinking it would make me feel better. It did not. Unable to stand it any longer, I called her up in the middle of the night. She picked up the call with a laugh, make me realize that I could not stand my tough words. I said I would not be the first one to start talking again. Moment later, even I joined in her laughter. We are no longer quarreling. Later, she saying something that touches my heart. Shona, let's make this a rule for our life after marriage. If we are together at home, then we will have dinner in the same plate, no matter what. Even if we had a terrible fight that day, we may not speak to each other, but sitting together, waiting for our turn to break the next bit of chapati in inadvertent touch of our hand as we eat, all this will calm our anger. Hannah? It was beginning of October, almost 3 months since we knew each other. I had talked to her entire family by then, and she had talked to mine. In fact, she had become a good friend of my mother. Mama always wanted to have a daughter. Gradually, she started sharing her joys and sorrows with Khushi. She used to talk about my childhood, my nature, my likes and dislikes, the things that made me angry. She also talked about her life in this family, a family in which man outnumbered woman by a ratio 3 is to 1, and where, unfortunately, the majority dominated. There were things about my mother which I had never knew earlier, but Kushi would tell me those things like any other son. I also love my mother, but the problem is that we never knew when we became the part of this male-dominated society. Kushi used to explain to me the nature of a woman and her expectations. She used to tell me what I should do for her when I went back home on weekends. She used to give me tips at times. She also used to shout at me if I forget them. I had one more reason to be happy then, for Khushi understood the importance of relationship. She knew the importance of family and how to care for them. Thank you for listening. Part 3 has also ended. Wait for the next part. See you soon.